This monthly Mortal Kombat video is going to be a fun one, my friends. You're watching Rayl Deal Games, and today I'll be talking about why I think it would be sick, absolutely sick, if Ed Boon were a guest character of some kind in Mortal Kombat 13. I make new gaming videos every single Friday, with at least one Mortal Kombat video every single month. If you end up liking this video, consider subscribing and checking out some of my other and future work. My big goal for the year is 10,000 subscribers, and with your help, I know I can get there. Now, when I say it would be cool for Ed Boon to be a guest character of some kind in a future Mortal Kombat 13, there's actually two separate ways for this to go down. He could be a playable fighter, or he could be a secret boss character, almost like Reptile in the original Mortal Kombat or Floyd in Mortal Kombat 1. I'd personally be fine with him being either. However, if he were a playable character, I'd like for him to be something players have to actually unlock. This is possibly a hot take of mine, but I actually miss when fighting games would have unlockable characters, especially for those who play games guideless, such as me. Unlockable characters always added mystique to a game, and if there's something Mortal Kombat as a franchise has been missing since Deception and Shaolin Monks or so, it's the lack of secrets. This could be a cool feature of the game in the same way the Square Enix CEO, Yosuke Matsuda, was a boss in the DLC of Nier Automata. Doing something like this in a long-running franchise like MK, as a reward for completing the Conquest mode like Quan Chi and MK9, would be a stellar and refreshing change for a AAA game to do. It could also be cool if NRS made it fairly challenging to find within a Conquest mode, such as the zombie Liu Kang unlock was in Deception, something that isn't immediately apparent to the average gamer. Realistically speaking, it's far more likely that he would be DLC or something like that, which, while a shame, is unfortunately just the nature of modern games these days. In terms of gameplay, I actually have some ideas for the character as well, to really set Boon apart from the other fighters within the franchise. At its core root, he should have reality-bending powers. He is the creator of the series after all, and in this way, it would be the perfect opportunity to work in elements of Mortal Kombat that rarely see the light of day. My thought in regards to this is that Boon could summon in large boss-sized characters for his specials, specifically characters that never see the light of day because they don't work within the modern MK fighting framework. Motaro, Kentaro, Moloch, Blaze, and Onaga would all be excellent characters to spawn in for the occasional command grab, charge attack, or something like that. Since there is a decent chance Onaga will either be the main villain or otherwise important to the plot in MK13, as evidenced by his presence in Raiko's ending.
With General Shao freed from prison, we began raising a new army against the royal family. Though many were eager recruits, few were good at soldiering. It was so bad, the general was forced to change tactics. He decided that we needed a doomsday weapon. That weapon isn't a thing, though. It is a monster. Onaga, the Dragon King. The general told me the old legends were true, that his ancient ancestor defeated Onaga, trapping him deep inside Mount Sagan. The Dragon King is still there today, his pent-up fury waiting to be unleashed. Because Onaga is so dangerous, the general wouldn't risk trying to tame him before. But now, he feels we have no choice. Though I likely won't survive, I accept this mission gladly. I can think of no greater honor than to give my life in the general's service.
This would be a good way of making Onaga some measure of quote-unquote playable without needing to tone down his mechanics to make him fair. That's really one of the biggest problems with like Shao Kahn, for instance. He's so much weaker to actually play as than he should canonically be, and it really creates this dissonance between the player and the lore of the game. These characters definitely need to be brought back into the franchise somehow, and this could be a good workaround in the same way they attempted to do with the cameo system in Mortal Kombat 1. It'd be far cooler for the player to be able to control Motaro more actively than just as a cameo. He'd at least be within the core moveset of the character. In terms of special moves, Boon should absolutely get a version of Scorpion Spear, saying the line as well, specifically in an unedited voice, such as what he did at Comic-Con 2013.
Who wants to hear him really do it? Do it!
I'm not going to say into the bike, because
Something that could be unique and sick is if Boon were able to take a camera shot of his opponent, turning them into a MK 1992 era sprite with the limited moveset of that game for a set period of time. It'd be cool to see digitized actors' sprites again, especially with how important they were to Mortal Kombat's initial explosion in popularity. And since I much prefer Boon's design to be more of a secret, super hard, uber boss type thing, this wouldn't actually be that bad, or broken. This is definitely the sort of ability that could not touch any competitive modes, but that's kind of the beauty of Mortal Kombat. Not everything needs to be competitive in this franchise. In fact, some of the best games in the franchise aren't even remotely fun in a competitive sense. They're just fun games in general, and that's what their lasting appeal is. For his Fatal Blow or X-Ray, and I really do hope we return to X-Rays personally, Dan Forden could do a toasty cameo to bring some cheesiness back into the franchise. The gibberish lines and such have been sorely missed in MK since MK9 or so, and honestly, the balance between goofiness and seriousness is something that's been a core part of this series' identity from the beginning, and I'd very much like to see it return in the next game. Bringing in Boon and other developers like Forden would be the perfect way of reintroducing some hamminess and fun back into the franchise. Now, I'm personally a fan of the 3D era of MK, as longtime fans of my MK videos would know by this point. And as such, it could also be cool if Boon were a stance character, like if he could actually tag team with Tobias. They are the original creators, and this would be an awesome way of getting Tobias back into MK, which is something loads of series fans have been wanting for a long time. Boon's moveset could be themed around camera shots and directing, and Tobias's could be themed around writing and such. It'd be a great and flavorful way of representing what they did for the production of the games from the very beginning. Regardless, one of his finishing moves would have to at least cameo Tobias, maybe making it so they fuse together to become a souped up version of Noob. That'd be a funny connection to the original inception of the character's name. They could have a friendship with them sitting around an arcade cabinet, having a good time like they would have had back in the day. This would be a sort of catharsis for the series, since it's been a long time since these two have worked together on any project. Fixing the franchise both metaphorically and literally would be so awesome to see. In terms of his other fatality, Boon should have one where he digitizes the enemy fighter and subjects them to Sub-Zero's 1992 spine rip. I chose this particular one because this fatality and Kano's heart rip were the two commonly featured on the nightly news, specifically Fox News, at the time of the first game's release.
Cold-blooded murder is making Mortal Kombat the most popular video game in history. Kids relish their victory and their bloody choice. Should they pull out their opponent's heart, or simply rip his head off just to see his spinal cord dangle in a pool of blood? How do you feel about cutting his head off?
This fatality, iconic as it is partially responsible for the creation of the ESRB rating system that we're all familiar with to this very day. I would also accept if he summoned in Quan Chi to do Quan Chi's leg beatdown fatality, since that is Ed Boon's favorite finishing move in the entire series. Finally, I can see the logic behind why Ed Boon wouldn't want to guest star in his own series. Who would want to see themselves brutally murdered in hundreds of different ways? This is why I think it would be absolutely dope if Boon enacted the fatality against the winner if they input the code on him, almost like he's just instantly reverting who won the match without technically doing that, of course. The idea of having these fourth wall breaking mechanics really matches the trolling nature of Ed Boon, and that's why I think they'd be nice complements to his moveset if he were to be a fighter. Sometimes I like to put out these fun little Mortal Kombat idea dumps, which more or less function as my own personal list of wants and wishes for one of my favorite gaming franchises. I like it when creators get really invested in their own projects, and I'd love to see something like this happen, even if it weren't Ed Boon himself. And that's the monthly Mortal Kombat video, my guys. What do you all think of this idea? What would you like to see if something like this ever happened? Let's discuss in the comments below. I make new gaming videos every single Friday, and I'm considering going back into the past and starting to review each arcade-era Mortal Kombat port I can get my hands on. Let me know in the comments below if that's something you'd like to see me do. I'd likely structure them in the same way I've done for the Street Fighter 2 series of videos I put out a few months back. If you guys like this video, smash that like button button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. You won't want to miss out on my future gaming creations, and if you have a moment right now, check out one of the videos on the screen. Regardless of what you choose to do, thank you for keeping it real with Rayl Deal Games. Have an awesome day, my friend.